It is, and probably seeds that were in here. I think these are all tomatoes, but we didn't plant those here. We only planted the tomatoes in the end there. So if there's space left over and we're done, we can leave them. If not, we have to pull them.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. What is this one again? Is that a weed?
Yes, that's mallow.
And how about these guys?
What are they doing right now?
No, they're weeding the planter boxes, so they'll so that the plants that we actually planted get more space and they get all the rich soil. And they don't have to compete with the weed. So that's what they're doing. So we'll do that, and then when they're done, they'll see how the planter boxes are going to look, and then the next step would be to build their own planters further down on those rows that we see down there.
Jan.
Jan.
Came up from the Palm Springs area to spend the weekend here and to learn about how to get things growing. Hopefully, and even in the desert sands, we can get it done. They sure are pulling lots of water out from from underneath the soil to keep all of the golf courses going. And if they can grow lots of grass, I think we can grow something better than that, don't you?
Yeah.
I think so too. So I'm here to farm and garden in my house. Yeah, to have a little greenhouse in my house.
All right.
Yes.
And where is that?
Miami.
Miami.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, here's our watering system in here too. Just found it.
So how do they do that too? Do we have to get a box like
That's
this?
like a volunteer.
You know,
Like make a box
that's
like
one way. I
Right
hope they'll explain to us why we do raised beds and how it works and that kind of stuff. You can see underneath this mulch that there's, well, someplace down under here, there's like a black fabric that they put down so that stuff doesn't come up through.
Oh.
And I've done a raised bed before, but I don't remember why.
Well, so they're going to explain all that.
Yeah.
How long does it take to get something?
This we did 5 weeks ago. So the peppers we actually planted as a plant, and everything else here is from seed. So some grows really quick, like radishes will grow up in like a week or two. Carrots takes a good 2 to 3 months before you can eat them. They're still too small now. So
Some seeds, very few.
and
So in 5 weeks you can have food already,
yeah.
starting from scratch.
Yeah. Sometimes it's also used to do sequential planting. If you want to plant lettuce, you plant one row and then you wait a week and you plant another row and then you wait a week and you plant the third row, so that all the lettuce doesn't get ripe at one time. So you can start eating the first row, and when you've done that, next week you start eating the second row. So that's called sequential planting. And what we do here is also companion planting. So the bugs that likes to chew on the carrots, they don't like the beets, so they don't come near the carrots because we planted beets here. So they stay away. And then some of the flowers we planted would attract beneficial insects. So that's what you do when you do organic, because we're not going to use pesticides or fertilizers on this. So we try to control the bugs and just get the bugs we need, and then keep the other bugs we don't need away. So that's how that works.
What we're going to eat now. This is our lunch.
So then also, we'll take some of their
Aiko is coming too.
Yeah, we went sailing only one time.
Tomatoes and the
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Come here and then explain what it was.
Well, I washed it twice, put it in the salad spinner, and then made a sauce, just in case somebody want to try.
Okay. I'm down. I wash my hands.
Toast in the toaster? Okay.
What is the purpose?
Well, composting to me is like playing with the table scraps and with the things that you find out in your garden naturally. It's like making a jigsaw puzzle out of them that becomes earth. In the long run, what you're creating is you're creating this wonderful magical soil that you can plant, and your plants will proliferate and just thrive in. It's just like, or like making a layered cake. It's like you put a layer of table stuff, and then you put a layer of stuff from the garden, like your weeds or your grass clippings or whatever, and then you put a layer of manure. And then on the very top, you could add a little bit of weeds and stuff, and it keeps the flies away, and it makes it nice, so it smells nice. And then you just keep on doing that, add a little bit of water and add some red worms, and you've got a living, breathing organism that becomes like soil. And I actually take my completely mature compost and I plant my plants in it. I bought a little tiny stevia plant from a little tiny pot, and I put it in a big pot full of just totally compost that was mature, and it's thriving. It's beautiful. It's like the healthiest stevia plant ever.
Me?
I understand her. Got it. Yeah. And the star of the show totally understands. Branches
Branches that still have some greenery on them, you know, the chunky kind of stuff that like the springs of a bed. Yes? Yeah. Because then, you know, it will have some give, so it will allow some breathing, some air to come in.
Okay.
And then you want to come in with
Your table scraps.
table scraps.
That's how you call it. Okay, the leftovers.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all the stuff,
Biodegradable.
the biodegradable, the stuff that we're putting aside in the compost
Yes.
bins here, okay? And then on top of that,
The manure.
Manure.
What is the manure?
Manure is wonderful. We always use horse manure.
Personally, I think horse manure is the greatest. But chicken manure is fantastic too if you have chickens. It's a little bit more, yucky. or goat, if you have goats, goat manure is fantastic.
What about chicken? Chicken manure. is excellent.
Chicken manure?
Absolutely.
Okay.
my grandfather took us when we were little kids. He took us to a farm, and he said, we're going to go and get some manure for his tomato plants. He had 5 little kids under the age of 8, right? And he said, to know if this manure patty, this cow patty is ready, you gently tap your toe on the top of it. It will be dry. Well, little kids. My mom wasn't too pleased when we came home with dirty shoes. but yes, when it's ready, they're really nice patties or cookies. They're dry on both
very
sides.
dry.
And you can fling them into a burlap sack.